Hi, I'm Ross Stratton, the sound engineer for the Mike Lee Band, and today we're going to talk about how we mic and mix the drums in our live sets. So we'll start by looking at how we mic the kick. As you can see, there's a SubKick here and a Sennheiser 602. The 602 is our primary kick drum mic, and the SubKick is used for supplemental low end. You don't have to have a SubKick. That's the long story of it. It's used for me to basically add low end on a fader. And the other microphone is rolled off where this one starts. The Sennheiser 602 picks up plenty of low end. The real reason why we use it is it has a little bit more extended low end, but really so I can have more punch on one fader and more thump on the other. So if a song's more folky, maybe we will want to have thump and no kick attack. And so we'll turn this mic down and turn this one up, or leave it where it is and turn this one down. But say we have a really big song and he's just hammering the kick, I want to just bring that attack out. I'll turn this one up and turn this one down. The snare is mic'd with an SVA7, pretty standard. You can come around and look at that. And underneath, it's mic'd with a 604 Sennheiser, one of the tom mics, great for the bottom of the snare. Basically, we have the top for the initial attack, and then basically some nice sizzle from the snares on the bottom, and we get all that nice sizzle. So when you're actually mixing this, you need to make sure the polarity on this is the opposite of this one, because basically, as the snare goes down, this mic pulls out, and this one pushes in. And so when those audio signals come together, they phase each other. The channel count goes from the kick, the SubKick, snare, and then snare bottom, so that's 4 channels, and the 5th channel is the tom, and we use Sennheiser 604s on the toms. They sound great, been using them for years. Really, really strong. They are beasts. They've been hit a million times by a bunch of different drummers, and you know, I know people who have had them for 10 years and they still work. They're great mics. So how we typically mic these toms is we give them a fair bit of room and we aim them towards the center so that we get the nice attack and not so much woominess. Some people like to get them like right there, and that gives you a lot of woominess but no attack because it's not really aimed at where the stick is actually hitting the head. And some people like to do this and get them real far away, but then you kind of lose your body of the tom. So we like to kind of just give them a fair bit of the middle, right in the center, get that nice distance. Really preference, depending on, you know, the tom, you'll change how that's set. There's not really a wrong way to do it. You just want to make sure you get enough distance, you're getting that attack. And the floor tom's the same way. Obviously this drum's a little bigger, so it might be a little higher than the other one, because you want to get it that full range head there and the attack from the center. And not too much woominess that way either. So we'll go ahead and move on over to the overheads, which are actually, we're using in this technique as an underhead. These are Rode NT5s, which I found they sound a lot better when they're closely mic'd. So I have them, basically the lobe hits the edge of this crash and then is mainly aimed at the ride. Since the ride typically tends to be a little quieter, the lobe is a little less on this, so it's pretty much balanced. The distance we just adjust it to find out which one's more balanced in loudness. And the lobe kind of keeps the harshness off because they're nice and close, and we are aiming at this, but the distance is farther, so it kind of makes up to be an equal sound. It sounds real nice and warm, but not harsh, for what we're looking for in overheads or underheads or whatever. Same concept here. Lobe hits this crash, and the distance is farther from the hi-hat because of the loudness of the hi-hat. So this is where we found it to be the most balanced. So we found this technique. We were actually at Creation this summer, I think out at Igthus, and we saw Colton Dixon, and his drummer had this exact same setup for underheads, NT5s, and I'm like, that looks really interesting. I wonder how that sounds, and lo and behold, it sounded really good. And actually, he uses an X32, which is even cooler. But like I said, it's kind of a preference on what you want to do, but the NT5s, I think, they sound a lot better when they're closer. Now, other overheads definitely might sound good at a distance. And I would probably do that if I had different microphones, but we have the NT5s, so we use them this way. I mixed the Digital Age, and BWAC had 914 Sennheiser overheads, and they were up high, and this was after I found this miking technique, and I was not thinking they were going to sound as good as I think this would sound, but lo and behold, they sounded awesome, and I would really love to get a pair because they to be able to do overheads. They were really nice, cymbals sounded great, so really it's just preference and what you think the mic works best in, but we found this works the best for what we're doing.
Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what other videos you'd like to see.